Let's talk for a second about your list. And specifically, how many people should you have on your list before you decide to launch? Hey, I'm Tracy, and I love to help people with their launches and growing their email list. I do this primarily through my Get Launched 5-week bootcamp, where I help people get all of their launch tasks done in just 5 weeks. So let's talk about your email list. First of all, you do need to have an email list. I know there are many people out there who have a fantastic social media following, but what I've found when helping people launch is that a great social media following does not often turn into a really successful launch. And there's a few reasons for this. Number one is if you are trying to engage with people on social media during a launch, you are really at the mercy of the algorithms. I mean, let's not even think about the fact that sometimes if you're launching on Facebook Live, you're doing lives, Facebook could go down, and it has. But aside from that, when you do go live or when you do put out your posts or whatever, there's a good chance a lot of people are not going to see it. Maybe they're not on Facebook that day. Maybe they're, who knows? There could be 1,000 reasons that they don't see Facebook. Maybe they haven't interacted with your page recently, and so they don't even get to see the things that you're posting. So you don't want your launch to be dependent on your social media following. Now, certainly you can supplement your launch activities with lives and posts and advertising and all those things on social media. And I highly recommend you do that. But you also need to have an email list. And one of the ways that you can do that, and this is a whole video in and of itself, but you want to offer the people on your social media channels something really cool, free, a lead magnet, or sometimes called a freebie, that will get them to a landing page where they put in their name and email address, and that will get them on your email list. Okay, so that's why you don't want to launch just on social media. Now, the number of people you want on your email list really depends on how engaged they are. It depends on what you're selling. And to some extent, it depends on how high of a price you're selling something at. So the standard rule of thumb is that you want to have 300 to 500 engaged people on your email list. Now let's talk about what engaged means. Someone that's engaged and is on your list means they open your emails. That would be the very lowest barrier for being engaged. They will respond to you if you ask them a question. Maybe they've taken a course from you. Maybe you've interacted with them in the past. And when you, at the beginning of your launch, you send out your survey asking people, what their concerns are or what their biggest problems are around the thing that you plan to launch, they will respond to that as well. So you don't just want people who are on your email list. An email list of 500 people who never open an email that you send to them, that is not an engaged list. A list that you got from Facebook ads, but then you didn't really follow up with them, not an engaged list. If you have a list of people that you've curated over the years, from Facebook ads, maybe from in-person events, maybe from other Facebook groups that you're in and you kind of connected with them, you might have done some live trainings with that, that you were on together. You've sent emails to them. They're on a nurture sequence. That's a warm list. Okay. So the more warm your list is, the better your conversion rates are going to be on your launch. So at a very minimum, you want 300 to 500 engaged people on your list. Now, the reason I give a range is because launching is entirely a numbers game. If you have 300 to 500 people on your list and they're warm, your conversion rate is going to be about 3 to 5%. I know it seems super low. It is very low. Most people are very surprised by that number. So the more engaged people you have, the more people you're going to get into your course or your program or to buy your product. If you're starting out and you don't really want a huge number of people because you're just kind of figuring it all out, then, and 3% is fine, then you need to kind of figure out, okay, how many people do I need on my list to get the number that I'll be happy with actually buying my course? Now, it isn't like etched in stone. 3 to 5% is if you do everything right and there are a very engaged list and your offer is right on. It's just a benchmark. Okay. It's sort of the typical thing that will happen. If you're doing a low cost product, say, 27, 47, maybe even up to $97, you're probably going to want more people on your list because otherwise your numbers for the launch aren't going to be very high and may not cover your costs. So there will be costs associated with your launch, whether it's the email service that you're using, maybe you're running Facebook ads, maybe you're paying for something like lead pages. I mean, there are costs involved. Maybe you're paying people, somebody to run your Facebook ads, somebody to run your social media. So if you are doing those things and you have a low ticket offer, you're going to need more people on your list in order for that launch to cover your costs. If you do something that is more expensive and more hands-on and one-on-one, you don't need to have a very big list. So in my 5-week boot camps that I do, I don't take on any more than 10 people. That's all I can work with. And actually 10 is like absolutely my max. I tend to like a little fewer than that, but depending on the time of year, people can be really anxious to launch. So I'll go up to 10. But the reality is, the reason I can only take on 10 is I get really, really in depth with the people who are in the boot camp. I know their businesses. I review their emails. I review their landing page copy. And because I only need 10 people each time I launch, I don't need a very big list. I do need a really engaged list because it's a higher ticket item. And so I need to be able to reach the people that will be a good fit for me, but I don't need to have thousands and thousands of people on my list because my launch is not going to hold thousands and thousands of people. So my list is a lot smaller, and that's fine with me. That makes sense for my ROI. So the answer about how big your list needs to be before you launch really has to do with your business and your list. And the reality is there are often people who decide, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to do it. I only have 50 people on my list, but they love me and they will buy anything I have to offer. And so maybe then if you launch with 50, you'll get 50 people or you'll get 40 people and you'll be fine. But you have to really know your audience if that's the case. I mean, I've done launches where if it's super small and it's something brand new and I come up with an idea, I might reach out to 10 people individually that I know this is perfect for them. And so I'll reach out to those 10 people and hope that I get 5. And sometimes that works. So you just have to really know what you're offering and who it's perfect for, and then make sure that you're in alignment with those people and that you're keeping that list warm and engaged. And that's going to be the key to your successful launch. So I am Tracy from Launch Tech Made Easy. If you want to find out more about who I am, you can find me at launchtechmadeeasy.com, or of course, right here, you can pop a comment in below and I'll follow up with you.